The forest was alive with whispers, ancient trees bending over the narrow path like watchful guardians, their branches creaking softly as the wind pushed through. Every step the tiny alien girl took sounded louder than it should, her bare feet pressing on fallen leaves that crunched like secrets being broken. She knew this path was forbidden. Every child in her village knew it. The elders had warned her many times. They said the sacred pool was not for children, not for strangers, not for anyone outside the chosen circle of guardians. But warnings only fed her curiosity, and tonight's curiosity was stronger than fear. Her small body trembled, not from the cold, but from the thought of what waited ahead. She had heard whispers from the older ones, stories told around the fires. When they thought she was asleep, a human comes to the pool, they said. A human kneels there like it belongs to him. The very idea was shocking. The elders described humans as wild, dangerous, selfish creatures who cared nothing for tradition. And yet something about those whispered stories burned inside her mind. Why would a human go there? She asked herself again and again, and why had no elder stopped him if the pool was sacred? Why was it left unguarded at night? The questions scratched at her soul until she could not resist anymore. So she followed the path into the forbidden woods. Alone, the deeper she went, the heavier the air felt. It was not only the thick smell of moss and wet bark, it was the weight of unseen eyes. Legends said spirits of the ancestors watched the pool. Punishing anyone unworthy, she swallowed hard, her tiny hands clutching at the side of a tree as she forced herself forward. Then, faintly, she saw it, the glow. A silver-blue light spilling between the trees. It shimmered like moonlight, but stronger. Alive. Her breath caught. Her heart pounded so hard, she thought it might break through her chest. The sacred pool was real, and she was here, breaking the rules of her people. But she was not alone. Her eyes widened when she saw him, the human. He was kneeling by the glowing water, his head bowed, one hand resting on the surface as if he were praying. His reflection danced in the rippling glow. Tall, broad, strange, his skin pale compared to hers, his hair dark. She froze, unable to move. Every warning screamed in her head. Run, go back, tell the elders. But her legs would not listen. Instead, she crouched low behind a rock, peering at him with wide eyes. Her heart beat so loud she was sure he could hear it. The human did not act like the monster she had been taught to fear. There was no greed in his eyes, no anger in his face. Instead, his touch was gentle, almost reverent. He whispered something, words she could not understand, but the sound was soft, respectful. Confusion flooded her. How could this be? Why would a human treat their most sacred place with such care? Her breath slipped out too quickly, and the sound of it echoed in the stillness. Panic surged through her chest. She ducked lower, pressing her body against the ground. But it was too late. The human stilled, his hand lifting from the glowing water, his head turning slowly, his eyes scanning the trees, his gaze sharp like a blade. Then, softly, he spoke. I know you're there. Her body turned to stone. She did not breathe. She did not blink. Every nerve in her screamed to run, but his voice was not threatening. It was calm, almost certain, as if he had been expecting her. She felt her throat tighten, fear and curiosity fighting for control. How could he know she was there? How could he sound so sure? Did he see her steps? Or had he been waiting all along? The girl's small fingers dug into the dirt, her chest rising and falling too fast. She knew she should leave, escape while she could. But something inside her held her still, a strange pull that chained her. To that place, the pool glowed brighter, as if it too was watching. The silver-blue ripples casting ghostly light across the human's face. His eyes reflected the glow, steady and unafraid. She shivered. She was just a tiny alien girl, fragile, inexperienced. But in that moment, she felt the weight of something bigger pressing on her. Fate, destiny, or maybe danger, whatever it was. She knew this night would change everything. The forbidden path had led her here. And the human was not surprised. No, he was waiting. The night was heavy with silence, broken only by the faint sound of water moving in the sacred pool. The tiny alien girl crouched lower, her small frame shaking, yet the human's voice still echoed in her ears, calm, steady, almost as if he was inviting her. "I know you're there," he had said. Her chest rose and fell quickly. She thought about turning back, about running into the forest and pretending she had never come, but the pull of the pool was strong. And stronger still was the strange human kneeling beside it. She took one step forward, then another, until her small figure slipped out from behind the rock. The human did not move. His head remained turned slightly, his hand still close to the glowing water, his eyes reflecting the light of the pool. When he finally looked at her fully, she felt her knees weaken. He did not glare, he did not shout. He only watched her as if he had known her face long before this moment. "Why are you here?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Her kind had told her humans were greedy, that they came only to take, that they had no respect for the sacred places of others. Yet the man's calmness cut through all those warnings. Instead of answering, he lowered his gaze to the pool. His fingers brushed the surface, and the silver-blue glow danced again across. "The ripples. I came here for the same reason you did," he said softly, his voice low, steady, carrying no anger, "because the pool calls." Her eyes widened, confusion spreading across her small face. "The pool calls only my people," she said quickly. "Humans are not welcome. This is our sacred ground." The man's lips curved. Slightly, not a cruel smile, not mockery, but something gentler. "That is what they told you," he said, his voice almost sad. "But the truth is older than your elders. Older than your tribe, older even than the forest itself." Her tiny heart raced faster. Every word he spoke felt dangerous, forbidden, yet they also pulled her closer. Like a hidden door opening in her mind. "You lie," she whispered. "But..." Her voice shook. "Humans know nothing of this place." He turned his head then, meeting her eyes again. And for the first time she saw something in them, pain, deep and quiet. As if he carried a burden he had held too long, this pool. He said slowly, "Does not belong to only your people, it belongs to mine as well." The girl's breath caught in her throat. Her knees bent slightly as if she might collapse. It was impossible, unthinkable. And yet his words carried a weight that could not be denied. She shook her head, clutching her small hands against her chest. "No, no. The elders would have told us. They would never hide something so big." But even as she spoke, doubt slipped into her voice. The man rose to his feet. Tall and broad compared to her tiny form, yet his movements were slow, measured. He made no step toward her. As if careful not to frighten her away, "Your elders," he said gently, "feared what you would discover if you knew the truth. So they buried it, they erased it, but the water remembers. The pool never forgets." The girl's eyes darted to the glowing pool. The light shimmered stronger now, as if the water itself responded to his words. She gasped softly, her throat dry. "Do you know what your people call this pool?" he asked, his voice still calm, his hands folding in front of him. "Yes," she said quickly. "We call it the breath of the ancients. It is where our spirit keepers rest. It is where life begins anew." The man nodded slowly. "My people. Call it the first mirror," he said, "because long ago, when your kind and mine were not enemies, both looked into its water and saw themselves as one. Not different, not divided. One." The girl's stomach twisted. Her mind spun. Could such a story be true? Her people had always spoken of humans as outsiders, intruders, dangerous ones who did not belong. But here was a man who touched the pool without fear, who spoke of history she had never heard. You? You speak lies. She tried again, her voice breaking as she stepped back. You want to trick me. That is why you came here. That is why you wait. But he did not argue. Instead, he lowered himself again to the pool, pressing his palm to the water's edge, and at once the glow surged brighter. Symbols she had never seen rose faintly from the surface. Glowing lines that pulsed with energy, they reflected across his arm and face. Her breath tore from her chest. She stumbled back, her tiny hands covering her mouth. What? What is that? She whispered, her voice filled with fear, awe, and disbelief. The truth, he answered, quietly. His eyes still fixed on the shining water. The secret they did not want you to know. The girl could not move, her entire body frozen between fear and wonder. She felt the forest shift around her, as if even the trees were listening. Her heart thundered louder. Her mind screamed at her to run. But her soul whispered something else. Stay, listen, learn. And as the human lifted his hand from the pool, droplets glowing like stars falling from his palm, he looked at her once more, his voice soft but certain. I was waiting for you. Because the pool wanted you to hear this, not me. Her knees trembled. Her breath came fast. She stared at him, unable to answer, unable to look away. In that moment, she knew one thing. With certainty, nothing would ever be the same again. The girl's legs felt weak as she stood by the sacred pool, her chest rising and falling too quickly. The glow from the water reflected across her face, her eyes wide and unblinking. The human's words echoed in her mind, heavier than the forest. Silence around them. I was waiting for you, he had said. And that single line burned in her thoughts. How could he know her? How could he speak as if this meeting was no accident? Her small hands curled into fists, fear clashing with anger. She stepped closer, her voice shaking but sharp. You do not belong here, she whispered. This place is ours. You have no right to touch it. The human rose slowly to his feet, taller now, his shadow stretching long against the glowing water. But his movements carried no threat, no sudden strike. Instead, he looked down at her with calm eyes, as if he had expected her words too. You believe that because you were told to, he said softly, his voice steady, but deep inside. You already know I am not your enemy. Her breath caught. She shook her head quickly. No, I don't know that, she said, her voice cracking. You are human, you are dangerous. I should call my people. They will come and end this. But even as she said it, she did not move to run. Her feet were rooted to the spot, her body trembling yet locked in place. The human tilted his head, watching her closely, his expression unreadable. Then why are you still here? He asked. Gently, why have you not called them already? Her lips parted, but no sound came. His words pierced through her chest, and she hated that he was right. If he was truly a monster, if he was truly the danger the elders spoke of, she would have fled already. Instead, she whispered, because I don't trust you, but I don't trust them either. The human's eyes softened at her honesty. For a moment silence wrapped around them again, broken only by the ripples of the pool, the glow reflecting between them. He stepped one pace closer, careful and slow, as though he moved in the presence of something fragile. You came here for answers, he said, but your elders gave you only fear. And now you see me, and you feel the same fear. But fear does not always mean danger. Sometimes it means the truth is near. Her small body stiffened. She clenched her fists tighter. Stop twisting words, she said. Stop talking like you know me. You don't. His gaze locked onto hers, unflinching, unbroken. I know you more than you realize, he said quietly, because I was once like you, small, afraid, taught to hate. But the pool showed me different. The girl's heart raced. Faster. She looked at him with wide eyes, searching for the lie, searching for the trick. But all she found was steady calmness. She moved closer to the water, keeping distance from him, but close enough to feel the energy of the pool brushing her skin. "If you speak truth," she said, "then show me what you see in the water." The human did not hesitate. He lowered himself again, placing his palm flat on the surface. The glow spread out, brighter than before, rippling across the pool in perfect rings. Then the light rose, forming shifting shapes, symbols neither fully hers nor his. Something shared. Her jaw tightened. Her body shook as she stared. "I don't understand," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Why does it answer you? Why does it not reject you?" "Because it knows me," he said firmly. "Because the water remembers what your people forgot." The girl's throat tightened. She backed one step away, shaking her head in denial. "No. No, this cannot be," she whispered. "This pool is ours. Only ours." His gaze followed her, patient, unmoving. "If that were true," he said softly, "it would have cast me out long ago." Her mind raced. Every lesson, every story she had been told now burned with doubt. She wanted to scream, to run, but her voice caught in her throat. Tears burned in her small eyes. Finally, her fear turned into sharp words. "Then, why wait for me?" she demanded. "Why me? I am only a child. I am nothing." The man's face softened again. Haza had heavy with something deep. "Because the pool chose you," he said quietly. "Not your elders, not me, you. It called you here, and I listened." Her body froze, her mind spun. Chosen. How could that be? Why her? She was small, weak, ignored by most in her tribe, yet this human spoke as if her footsteps tonight were fate. Not accident. Tears slipped down her cheeks. She clenched her teeth. "I don't want this," she cried softly. "I just wanted to know why you came. I never asked for any of this." The human's voice lowered, almost like a whisper. "The truth does not wait for those who ask. It comes for those who need it." The girl shivered, staring at him, her heart a storm of fear and strange hope. She hated his words, yet she wanted to believe them. Hated his calmness, yet found herself unable to look away. The pool glowed brighter between them, the light spilling over their faces, the forest holding its breath. And in that stillness, she knew this was no simple meeting. This was no accident. The tiny alien girl had confronted the human. And instead of finding a thief, a monster, or a fool, she had found a mirror. A reflection she did not understand, but could not deny. And deep inside, though she would never admit it, a part of her wanted to hear more. The tiny alien girl stood trembling by the sacred pool, her chest rising fast, her hands curled into small fists. She wanted to turn away from the human, too, deny his words, but the glow of the water refused to let her. The pool pulsed gently, as if alive, as if listening. The human's calm eyes never left her. His voice carried no anger, only quiet weight. "You are afraid," he said, "but you are also curious. That is why you are still here." Her breath caught. She hated that he spoke the truth. Her people had always warned her of human tricks. Yet his words did not sound like tricks. They sounded like something else, something older and heavier. She looked at him with suspicion, but also with a strange pull she could not name. "You should not know of this pool," she whispered, her voice sharp but trembling. "And yet you speak like it belongs to you." The man's gaze shifted to the glowing water, his hand hovering just above its surface. "It does not belong to me," he said, "nor to your people alone. It belongs to both of us, to the past we share." Her heart thudded harder. "Lies," she said quickly, but even as the word left her mouth, she felt it weaken. Because the water glowed brighter whenever he touched it. Because the air itself seemed to hum with his presence. The man lowered his voice, almost like a secret spoken only to her. Do you ever wonder why the pool glows when you are near? Why you feel its pull stronger than others? Her eyes widened. She stepped back. How? How do you know that? She whispered. She had never told anyone, not even the elders, that sometimes when she passed near the forest, she felt the pool calling, tugging at her heart like invisible hands. I know, he said softly. Because? I feel the same. The girl's small body froze. The fear inside her mixed now with something else, a strange connection, a dangerous bond that her people would call blasphemy. She shook her head, trying to drive it away. No, it cannot be. You are human. I am not. And yet, here we stand, he answered calmly. The pool called us both. The silence grew heavier. The forest around them seemed to lean closer, listening to every word. She wanted to scream, to deny him again. But instead, her lips trembled, no sound escaping. Finally, she forced out, if the elders knew, they would destroy you. Her voice cracked. They would call you a thief, a cursed one, and they would cast me out for even speaking to you. The human did not flinch. He only nodded as if he had already accepted it. Yes, he said. And still, you are here. Still, you have not run to call them. Why? Her throat tightened. She could not answer. Because she did not know. All she knew was that leaving felt impossible, that his presence tied her in ways she could not break. The man took one slow step closer, careful not to frighten her, his voice low, steady. Your people fear the truth because truth breaks chains. But you are different. You have the courage to seek what others hide. Her eyes burned with tears. She wanted to say no. She wanted to push him away. But deep inside, a part of her knew he was right. She was here because she had always doubted. Because she had always felt the pool calling when others turned away. Her small voice shook as she whispered, if you are right, then everything I know is wrong. The human's expression softened. His eyes filled with quiet sorrow. Not wrong, he said gently. Just incomplete. She gasped softly, her chest heavy, her tiny hands trembling at her sides. The forest was too quiet. The pool glowed too bright. Every part of her felt like the world itself was holding its breath, waiting for her choice. The human turned back to the pool, placing his hand into the glowing water again. The ripples rose, shimmering symbols flickered in the air. They were not hers alone. They were not his alone. They were both woven together like strands of light. She stared, her voice breaking. Why? Why would they hide this? Because power fears sharing, he whispered. Because if your people remembered, they would see that humans are not their enemy, and those who lead would lose control. Her knees weakened. She lowered herself to the ground, staring at the shimmering water. Everything she had believed now cracked, falling apart piece by piece. The human looked at her once more, his face calm but heavy. You do not have to believe me tonight, he said quietly, but the pool will show you. When you are ready. Her tears slipped down her cheeks. She hated him. She hated his words. But she also hated that she wanted to believe, that she felt the pool whispering the same truth. She lifted her gaze to him, her voice a trembling whisper. Why me? Why not the elders? Why not someone stronger, wiser? His eyes held hers, unshaking, unbroken, because the pool chose you. He said firmly, and I chose to wait. Her breath caught, her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear the forest. She did not know if this man was her enemy or her fate. But she knew one thing: she could not walk away. Not now, not ever. The dangerous bond between them was sealed in silence, sealed in the glow of the pool. And though the night was still young, the girl knew her life would never be the same. The forest no longer felt silent. The tiny alien girl's heart raced as she stood near the sacred pool. The human's words still echoed in her chest, heavy and confusing. She wanted to deny him. Yet the glow of the water seemed to agree with him, and that frightened her most of all. But then the sound came, sharp, distant, yet close enough to freeze. Her in place, voices low and rough, carrying through the trees. The girl's eyes widened in fear. She knew those voices. They were hers. The hunters, the elders, her people were coming. The human did not move. He did not panic. He only stood still, watching her, his eyes steady as the voices grew louder. His calmness made her stomach twist. Why was he not afraid? Why did he stand? So quietly when death was near, "They will kill you," she whispered harshly, her tiny hands trembling. "If they find you here, they will not let you leave alive." The man only nodded, his face calm. "I know." He said simply, "That is why I waited for you, not them." Her breath caught. The pool glowed brighter as if it too sensed the danger. The girl's body shook, her mind screaming at her to run, to hide, but her feet did not move. She looked at him again, and his calmness burned inside her. The voices drew closer, the crack of branches under heavy feet, the glint of firelight between the trees. Her people were carrying torches, hunting in the night, searching for the human. Her chest grew tight. She turned to him desperately. "Go," she begged. "Leave now, before they see you. Run into the forest. You still have time." But he did not run. He did not even step back. His gaze held hers, unwavering. "If I run," he said softly, "they will find me anyway, and you will be punished for hiding me." Tears stung her eyes. Her voice shook. "Then what do you want me to do?" She whispered, "If they see us together, they will destroy us both." The man's eyes softened. "You must choose," he said, his voice calm yet heavy. "Betray me to save yourself, or stand with me and risk everything." Her tiny hands clenched. Her body felt heavy as stone. She did not want this. She did not want choices. She had only wanted to know the truth. But now the truth had cornered her. The glow of the pool seemed to pulse stronger, the water rippling. Even without touch, the forest grew darker around its light. The voices were close now, only heartbeats away. She stumbled back, her tears falling. "I can't," she whispered. "I can't choose." But the human stepped closer, his tall figure shadowing her small form. His voice deep but gentle. "You already chose the moment. You stayed." Her body froze. His words cut through her chest like a blade. She had stayed. She had not called for her people. She had listened to him when she should have run. Then the light of torches broke through the trees. Figures emerged. The hunters, the elders. Her people surrounded the pool, their eyes fierce, their weapons raised. Their anger burning as they saw the human standing tall by their sacred water. The elders' voices thundered. "Thief," they cried. "Defiler, monster," their words shook the air, their eyes locked on the man, ready to strike. The girl's body trembled. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. Her people demanded answers. They demanded blood. The human stood silent, unmoving, unafraid. One of the elders pointed at her, his voice sharp like fire. "Child," he roared, "why do you stand with him? Why do you not run? Why do you not call us sooner?" Her throat tightened, her tears fell faster. She wanted to scream, to hide. But instead, she stepped forward, her small body shaking as she whispered, "Because he does not harm the pool." The crowd gasped. Voices rose in fury. The hunters raised their weapons higher. "Lies," the elders shouted. "He is a deceiver. He twists the sacred water. He poisons you with his tongue." The human still did not move. His eyes only watched her, calm and waiting. as if her answer mattered more than the blades around him. The girl's heart thundered painfully. Her people shouted for her to step aside, to let them kill him. She could feel their hatred like fire burning her skin. She turned to him one last time, his eyes steady, unafraid, his voice quiet enough only for her. "Choose, little one," he said. "Betray me or stand with me." Her breath broke. Her knees shook. She turned to her people, her small voice rising though it cracked. "No," she said, louder this time, her tears shining in the glow. "He belongs here." The forest fell into silence. Her people stared in shock. Their weapons? Frozen mid-air, the elders' mouths hung open in disbelief. The girl's tiny body shook as she stood between them and the human. Her arms spread, though she was too small to shield him. Her voice trembling but strong. "I will not betray him," she said. "Not here, not tonight." The glow of the pool surged brighter, light spilling across the forest. And in that light, her people saw not just the human, but the bond between him and the child. A bond they could not explain. A bond that felt like betrayal. The torches burned bright against the night. Shadows of the hunters stretched across the sacred pool. The tiny alien girl stood trembling, her arms spread wide. Her small body between her people and the human. Her voice still echoed in the forest. "He belongs here." Her people froze in disbelief. Anger burned in their eyes. Whispers rushed through the crowd like wildfire. The elders stepped forward, their faces stern, their voices sharp. "Child, step aside." One elder commanded. "You do not know what you say," but her legs would not move. Her feet were planted firmly on the ground. The glow of the pool spilled over her skin, and though her hands shook, her heart found a strange strength. "I know," she said, her voice trembling but loud. "I know what I see. He does not hurt." The pool, the water answers him. A murmur swept through the hunters. Some looked at the glowing ripples, at the shimmering symbols that still danced faintly on the surface. Doubt flickered in their eyes, but the elders would not yield. "This is trickery," one elder spat, pointing at the human. "The pool cannot belong to them. It is ours. It has always been ours." The human stood silent, tall and calm. His shadow stretched long by the torchlight. His eyes did not leave the girl. He did not beg for his life. He did not fight. He only waited. As if the choice rested not in the hands of the elders, but in hers. Her chest rose quickly. She turned to her people, tears on her face. "You say the pool belongs only to us," she cried. "Then why does it glow when he touches it? Why does it shine brighter than ever when we are both here?" The elders shouted back, "Lies, tricks. He has poisoned the water. He has fooled you." But her small body shook with defiance. "No," she shouted. "I feel it. The pool does not reject him. It calls to him like it calls to me." The voices of her people grew louder. Anger, disbelief, fear. Their weapons lifted higher. The hunters looked to the elders for command, but the girl's voice broke through them again, louder. "This time, if you want to strike him, you must strike me first." The silence that followed was heavy. The flames of the torches hissed in the night. Even the forest seemed to stop breathing. The elders' eyes narrowed. Rage burned in them. But hesitation cracked their voices. "Child, you are blinded," one said coldly. "You shame your blood. You bring dishonor to your mother's line." Her tears fell harder, but she did not step aside. "Maybe," she whispered, "but I will not shame the truth." The pool pulsed brighter, light spilling across the trees, silver blue waves washing over the torches. And for a moment, even the hunters lowered their weapons, blinded by the sudden glow. Then, in that silence, the human finally moved. His hand touched the water again. Ripples spread wide, brighter than before, and symbols rose higher, shapes glowing in the air. Old marks of power that none of the aliens Recognized, gasps filled the air. The hunters stumbled back. Fear and awe mixing in their faces. The elder's fury twisted. Dark magic, they shouted. He defiles the sacred pool with human corruption. But the girl's voice rang out over them, stronger than before. No, she cried. This is not corruption. This is the truth you have hidden from us. The human's voice joined hers, steady and deep. This water remembers. He said it remembers what your elders erased, that once, long ago. Humans and your kind shared this place as one. The crowd erupted in shock. The hunters shouted, the elders screamed denial, but the pool glowed stronger still. The symbols pulsed with light, spilling across the faces of all who watched. The girl stepped closer to the water, her tears shining in its glow. Her voice broke as she said, "Look at it. Do you not see? It does not lie. It does not choose sides. It binds us together." The hunters wavered. Some lowered their weapons, confusion twisting their faces, but the elders roared louder, their fear turning to rage. "Silence," they thundered. "You are deceived. You are cursed if you stand with him. You are no longer one of us." The words cut deep into her heart. Pain spread through her chest. She loved her people, her family, her home, and now they cast her out, all because she spoke what she saw. Her tears fell freely, her small body shaking. But the human's eyes held hers, calm and steady, his voice quiet enough for her alone. "Truth always demands a price," he said gently, "but it also sets you free." Her breath caught, her heart a storm. She turned back to her people, her tiny hands trembling but her voice steady. "Then I will pay that price," she whispered. "I will not betray him. And I will not betray the pool." Gasps and shouts filled the forest. Her people's fury burned hotter. The elders raised their hands as if to strike. But at that moment the pool erupted in light. A wave of silver glow surged upward, washing over everyone, silencing them. The sacred water had made its choice. And as the glow faded, all eyes fell on the tiny alien girl and the human beside her, standing together against the fury of a people, bound now by something greater than fear. The forest stood frozen under the light of the sacred pool. The torches of the hunters flickered weak against the silver-blue glow. The tiny alien girl stood beside the human, her body trembling but her feet rooted firmly in the earth. She had chosen, and the pool had answered. The elders' faces twisted with fury, their voices sharp like blades. "This is blasphemy." One shouted, "The pool cannot belong to humans. It belongs only to us." Their cries rose high, but their words were drowned by the glow that continued to spread from the water. The human lowered his hand into the pool once more. The surface rippled, and from it rose shapes of light. Symbols older than words, they danced in the air, weaving patterns neither fully alien nor fully human. The hunters gasped, stepping back in awe. Some dropped their weapons. The girl's small eyes widened, tears on her cheeks catching the glow. "What is this?" she whispered, her voice breaking. "What does it mean?" The man's voice was steady, low, filled with the weight of forgotten years. "It is memory," he said. "The pool remembers what your people buried, what mine forgot. Once we stood together. Once we shared this place as one." The light shifted, and in its glow appeared visions. The forest long ago, filled with both humans and her kind, standing side by side at the pool, not enemies, not strangers. Their hands touching the same water, their voices raised together. Gasps filled the night. The hunters stumbled. Even the elders faltered, their anger shaken by what their eyes could not deny. The girl's tiny body shook, her heart pounding with awe and fear. "It's true," she whispered, "all this time. It's true." But one elder roared louder than the rest, his voice desperate. "Lies, illusions. The pool has been poisoned. Do not believe it." His words carried rage, but his eyes betrayed fear. The girl stepped forward, her small frame trembling yet strong. "No," she cried, her voice breaking but clear. "It is not poisoned. It is pure. It has shown us what you tried to hide." The human turned his gaze to the crowd, his voice carrying across the forest. "The pool has chosen to reveal itself tonight. Not because of me, not because of you, but because of her." His eyes softened as they fell on the girl. She has the courage to see what others feared. Her people stared at her, some in disbelief, some in anger, others in silence. The weight of her choice pressed heavy on her shoulders. But the pool's light seemed to hold her up. The elder's fury deepened. "If you stand with him, you are no child of ours." One declared coldly, "You will be cast out. Forgotten, your name erased." Her heart broke at the words. Pain tearing through her chest. She thought of her mother, her family, her home. All she loved was here. But now it was slipping away. Tears blurred her sight, yet she lifted her chin, her voice trembling but strong. "Then erase me," she whispered. "I will not erase the truth." The hunters gasped. The forest shook with silence. The human's eyes held hers, calm, proud, steady. He did not speak, but she felt his silent vow beside her. She was not alone. The pool's light surged higher, brighter than before, and suddenly a new vision rose from the water. A circle of humans and aliens together, their hands bound in unity, their voices echoing as one. The light wrapped around the girl and the human, a bond that even the elders could not deny. The hunters fell to their knees, awe in their faces. Some cried out prayers, others bowed their heads, but the elders trembled, their power crumbling under the truth. One elder screamed, "No, this cannot be. We will not bow to humans." And he raised his weapon high, his fury blind. The girl gasped, frozen in fear, but before he could strike, the pool erupted in a wave of light. A barrier of silver-blue energy burst upward, throwing him back to the ground, his weapon clattering. Away, the forest roared with silence once more. The pool had spoken, the water itself had defended them. The girl fell to her knees by the water, her tears mixing with the glow, her tiny voice trembling. You saved us," she whispered, not only to the human, but to the pool, to the spirits within. The human knelt beside her, his voice low but filled with certainty. "No," he said gently, "you saved us. You chose to see." And the pool answered, her. People looked at her, not as a child now, but as something more. The one who had dared to stand where others bowed, the one who had brought the truth into the open. The elders sat broken, their anger swallowed by fear and shame, their power undone. They could no longer deny what all had seen. The pool had revealed its memory, and the girl had been chosen to carry it. The human rose to his feet, his eyes meeting hers one last time. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. "But whatever comes next, you will not walk it alone." Her tiny hand reached out, her fingers trembling as they touched his. A bond sealed not by blood, not by tribe, but by the truth of the sacred pool. And as the stars shone above and the silver-blue glow wrapped around them both, the tiny alien girl whispered words she had never imagined she would speak. "I was meant to find you." The night held its breath. The pool glowed brighter. And in that sacred light, the galaxy's forgotten truth was born again.